And I think why does that resonate with people? Because people ask the question, the most common thing we hear, Jeremy, is this is too good to be true. Or,
Hmm.
man, I wish I would have known about this 20, 30, 40 years ago, depending on the person's age. So when we're looking at our favorite episodes, it makes perfect sense that people want to see the journey of someone who started doing something different and it went really well.
Hmm. Or even if it didn't go well, right? We've had people that came on and said, "I got introduced to this 10 years ago. I
Mm.
didn't do it. Things didn't go well, and then I took back control."
Yeah, so back to my point, once they started taking back control, it typically, if you work, the system works when you work the system, right, Jeremy?
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of WealthWise Banking. I'm Jeremy Huggins, and I'm here with my co-host Jason Sipple. And today, as we start wrapping up the end of the year, we kind of wanted to go and reflect on a couple of our favorite episodes, a couple of our favorite lessons learned throughout the year, and people that we've interviewed, and things that kind of really resonated with us. So I'm excited. Jason, kind of gave you a little bit of a homework assignment. How have you been? What do you got coming on today? How are you looking at this episode?
Oh man, I am excited and thank you. Thank you for the warm introduction. My name is Jason Patrick Sipple. You're Jeremy Lee Huggins. And we're just grateful for each and every one of you listening. We've had some amazing interviews this year. We've had all different things from tax strategists to mindset experts to faith-based preachers, right? To farmers to veterinarians who treated sperm whales. We to 11-year-old bankers. We've done so much this year, and we've talked about crazy real life situations. So I got a lot of favorites. It might be a very, very long episode, but let's try to keep it to our normal about 30 minutes if we can.
Yeah, what I've noticed and what really sets us apart, it's you, it's the audience, right at the end of the day.
I
And a
thought your
lot of
man was
the,
me. I was like, oh,
yeah,
Jeremy, thank you.
no, it's our audience, man. This year has really confirmed that the episodes that move the most people aren't the ones where it's you and me talking about our own experiences, right? Or we're talking about products and features and benefits. It's really the episodes where our guests come on, you from the audience, come and share your personal journeys. And those have been some of my favorite episodes this year as well, right? The wins, the mistakes, people's fears,
Mm.
even second chances, right? We've heard a couple second chances, and that builder identity, how we talk about the borrower and the builder, and listening to people transition and use infinite banking to take back control of their lives. Those stories, they've resonated the most with our audience. And personally, they've resonated the most with me too.
Yeah. And I think why does that resonate with people? Because people ask the question, the most common thing we hear, Jeremy, is this is too good to be true. Or,
Hmm.
man, I wish I would have known about this 20, 30, 40 years ago, depending on the person's age. So when we're looking at our favorite episodes, it makes perfect sense that people want to see the journey of someone who started doing something different and it went really well.
Hmm. Or even if it didn't go well, right? We've had people that came on and said, "I got introduced to this 10 years ago. I
Mm.
didn't do it. Things didn't go well, and then I took back control."
Yeah. So back to my point, once they started taking back control, it typically, if you work, the system works when you work the system, right, Jeremy?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then it goes really well. So let's jump in, man. What's a couple of if
Oh
you're
man.
listening, share your favorite episodes and things that you really liked about this year in the comments. Email us. We always want to hear your feedback. But Jeremy, what are some of your favorite moments of this year?
The first interview I think we did was with Corey Littlefield, right? Episode 4.
Yes.
And you worked with Corey. I hadn't had the opportunity to even speak with Corey until that episode, right? That was the very first time that I got to speak with Corey. And to this date, it's still one of my favorite interviews, hands down.
I still think hands down that was probably our best because of Corey's willingness to be that vulnerable of what it felt like when he was going to them for
Hmm.
years as a very successful businessman, farmer that owns multiple businesses, and then having them tell him no.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking back control, right? And I mean, we keep saying it time and again, but he just did a simple shift. And it was, where does my money go first? And how am I going to really create a structured system, one that gives me guarantees and liquidity, but also protection. And it reminded me really what he did is he aligned what matters most to him today and future generations. That's what he did. And I think that's why it resonated so much. That vulnerability and the way that he just carried himself and sharing his story, it really hit home for me.
Yeah, same. And that's why, and we're going to bring Corey back on because I know I've checked in with him recently. He is winning in a big way where, banking is now a secondary thing to him because he can go out and focus on the more important things of running the business, of creating more cash flow. And it's really exciting when we see the people that we're helping as their guides, as their mentors win.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
Um,
another guest we had on, sorry, but
yeah, go
another
ahead.
guest we had on that I had never met him before. And when you brought him on and his energy, his faith, his stewardship, his family focus,
Mm.
it ended up being such a good episode. We split it into two, but Eric Tastet, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
huh, that guy, like I was in love with how he was, and then I got to meet him in person. Other than not being as tall as I thought he was, uh, he was even better in person. I got to meet his family, his wife, his daughters. Like what a gem, and what a leader in the space.
Yeah, that was episode 12 and 13. We split his up. He's the only guest interview that it went so long we literally had to split it into two episodes because again, he was sharing and being vulnerable about his faith and his finances and creating a structured plan for his family. We also talked a lot about cryptocurrency in those two episodes. I remember that and the sovereignty. Like he's full on board. I've got to take back as much control. I'm not putting any money or very little into the traditional dollar. He's quite different from a lot of the other folks who are even in IBC, even the way that he structures his day-to-day investments.
And that's an interesting point, like for folks that are in the crypto, right? You believe in a lot of the same things that infinite banking and Austrian economics. You want your dollar backed by something. The difference between crypto and what we're talking about, in my mind, this is my opinion, is that what we're talking about is a couple hundred years old
Mhm.
and it's been profitable every year. And the only thing it's based on is how long will we, the partners with the mutual company that owns these specially engineered policies for banking, right? These cash rich policies, how long will we pay our premium deposits? And when are we going to die? Well, they know when we're going to die. So they know how to go out and make the money that we're giving them, that they guarantee us money with, last longer. So imagine if folks like Eric that want that sovereignty, that understand the crypto space, imagine if they use this as an and both. I thought that is a massively missed
Yeah.
opportunity for folks out there.
His actual frustration comes from the dilution of the dollar, right? Because we came off the gold standard, and that's why he's a big proponent of Bitcoin, and I think the other one's like Ripple, because there's a finite amount, right? So he believes in that. We have to have a finite currency, and since we can't tie it back to a gold standard, he wants that there so that way it cannot run up in with inflation. That's what he looks at. He doesn't look at it as he believes in the technology piece behind it, but when he starts incorporating his cryptocurrency and banking practices, that's where he's coming back in control. And that gets back into Austrian economics, right? The sound money solution.
Yes. And that, again, the sound money solution, to keep it simple, just means the dollar, the currency is backed by something.
Right.
It's backed by an asset. It's backed by something. It's not just what's happening in fractional banking, where every time you make a deposit, the bank is creating 10 new dollars and only keeping a dollar behind.
Mm-hmm. Mm. What's another big favorite of yours?
Well, I was going to say for all of our philosophizers out there, right? All of our philosophers, we had someone come on that just really drove deep, asking deep questions into financial EQ,
Oh, yeah,
right?
Steve.
Yeah, in episode 29 and what that freedom actually means.
Yeah, so we did a little bit of an exercise with me actually. I remember when we were discussing how your finances and everything you work on, it's not about the numbers, right? And we went into what is financial freedom? Like that was the question,
Mm,
really, and that's what we dove into. And I remember on that one, I used to say that I look at money as an expression of the value that I bring to others. But Steve, he really had me re-question that. He's like, well, what if people don't receive what you put into the world? How do you feel?
mm.
And I told him, I think I'd feel bad. He goes, well, what if instead of value, it's utility? And it was like a light bulb moment. I was like, man, like what an incredible question. I mean, we started off with what is the value of money, and then we continued all the way down a literal because he's my mindset coach, and he asked me, he's like, well, what about utility? What about the utility you bring to others? Like if money is an expression of value, what if instead it's just an expression of utility?
Mm.
That was a deep episode.
It was. And if you, and I believe, like, I have a simple belief, again, like my last name, right? I joke around a lot, but let's keep it simple as simple. Like, I believe that the quality of the questions, the courage you have to ask yourself harder questions will be a direct reflection of the quality of your life.
Elaborate a little bit more on that. What do you mean?
So, like you just said, when Steve asked you, like, well, what if it was utility? Then, the next question might be, well, what does utility mean to you, Jeremy?
Hmm. Yeah.
And then when you start digging in, is like, is that really what you mean? Like, is taking, adding, being someone that is adds utility to someone's life, right? And that actually clicked with you because it meant something to you. Well, what did it mean to you? Like, if you keep peeling that onion and you keep asking deeper questions, well, why is that important, Jeremy? And I don't know what the answer is because it's not me. But that's what I mean. So, like, when I started looking at what wasn't working in my life, I started asking, well, how could this work in my life? I
Yeah.
changed the question. I stopped feeling like a victim, like, oh my God, like nothing's working, like everything. And I was mad all the time, Jeremy. Like that was something. So that's what I mean by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. Like if you want a different result, you have to ask yourself different questions and you have to be willing to look into the pain, right? The pain's an indication that there's some kind of fear or pattern that you are subconsciously aware of and you just haven't aligned it with your conscious yet.
Yeah.
So
No,
the
that makes a lot of
questions
sense.
unlock it. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah, because I mean, we talk a lot about systems and structure and taking back control, but why does that matter at the end of the
Yes,
day, right? So
exactly.
what's the point of it? Because structure may not matter for some people, and it's one thing to have a financial plan or a financial structure. It's another to know why you're doing it. Like we really harp on the financial EQ, or that's really the emotional intelligence around finances,
Hmm.
but it's your why, right? You can't be a builder on the outside and a borrower on the inside at the end of the day.
Yeah,
You
they're
just
they're
can't.
they're misaligned. They're here and here. So it's like you're consciously every day, right? You're saying, I am strong. And then all of your subconscious patterns reflect, I don't feel strong.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
that that is going to be like this is completely off topic, but I was listening to again Ryan Holiday's new book, like his series of four books, and in this last book, he's talking about Elon and all the stuff Elon's accomplished, and it's like wow, he's built SpaceX, Tesla, he bought Twitter, which was a cluster at the beginning, and changed it to X, and done this, but then you see all these patterns in the tweets and like how he's burning it all down. And I was like, wait, I didn't know about this behavior because I don't follow him that closely. I just have always been like, wow, how can one person accomplish so many things? But then you realize there's so much turmoil below the surface. So, my estimation of what I was listening to is there's misalignment internally.
Mm.
And so when you're listening for you, what that means for you, the listener, is just because you see what your neighbors are doing or your friends or you admire someone around you, you're not them. You don't have to be them. You don't have to want what they want. The question for you would be, what do you actually want? What does
Yeah.
freedom mean to you?
Why do you behave the way you do when it comes to money?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Like,
We went
so
we went a little this is like this is the conversations that we have in my home, right? Or on the phone. So you guys
yeah.
are all listening in to stuff we're talking about. What's another episode that I have some of my favorites, but what's another episode for you that you're really proud of or shocked by or excited, to share?
You know, episode 14, which just happens to pair with episode 46,
Hmm.
the IUL trap, really, right?
Oh
So in
God.
episode 14, we really got into index universal life and what it is and what it's not, right? And more importantly, what is it not? And then in episode 46, NASCAR driver lost $8.5 million to an IUL. And like it just kind of proved the point. A couple weeks later, right? You went from 14. We laid out the product side of the house of what is IUL and introduced the risk. We
Yes.
introduced the moving parts of it. We kind of did a deep dive, a real features and benefits, if you will, of what are IULs and what are the risks of them. And then in episode 46, we went deeper and showed an actual real life example of a lawsuit that's going on in that product now. And as you dig in deeper, you'll see more lawsuits. It's highly misrepresented. It is not what it's advertised to be. I can't believe folks are even allowed to build IULs, quite honestly. It's legal
Hey,
theft, in
and
my
ain't the
opinion.
truth, man. Every time I hear this garbage, like I try to be agnostic. I try not to have emotions around it. I'm working with a 75-year-old with 11 IULs, and he finally started asking himself different questions. Say, wait a minute, when my kids were running my company, they ran it into the ground. And I started saying, why are we hemorrhaging money? And he took back over. And now, because he cared more about it, right? When he took his
Mhm.
eyes off where they were going, what the destination was, everything started going sideways. And he started looking at what he was doing within the business, within his family. And he's like, wait, I'm up at the end of the fourth quarter, Jeremy and or Jason, and now I have these policies and they have this surrender charge and we talked about like the quality of your questions. And my question for anyone who's thinking about getting an IUL, I've got a couple clients right now that unfortunately they're probably going to go with an IUL over doing a specially engineered, boring old whole life policy with a company that's been profitable for the last 148
What
years or another one that's 119 years because the quality of the question, they're looking at what, Jeremy?
they're looking at rates of return probably and trying to tie it to an investment, and they're not looking at the guarantees. I think automatically I go back to that Warren Buffett quote, right? You'll figure out who's swimming naked when the tide goes out.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, doesn't that sound fun? Wow, what a visual. I'm a visual guy, so I just got a little freaked out right there. So
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people
So
have put some
that
suntan lotion on.
I like that episode. Or I should say episode combo, right? If you're going to listen to episode 14, go ahead and skip right to episode 46 right after that. That's what I'd recommend. If you want to deep dive into what is IUL and then look at the dangers of IUL and how it lost one family $8.5 million, I would recommend those two episodes.
And I'm not joking. I've talked to well over, I'm helping multiple people right tomorrow. I have a conversation helping someone that has a $4,000 surrender charge on a 7-year-old IUL, and I'm helping her 1035 that into whole life because she started whole life a couple years ago with me and it's worked exactly like it's designed and it's getting better every year. And she's like, I've got these other two I started. What the heck do I do with these? I'm like, well, you either ride it out past the surrender time and then you can decide what to do with it, or maybe just use it for insurance. Or if you're looking for more banking bang in your life, so more functionality and more opportunity fund that's guaranteed, then you might want to exchange them. Right. And just
Well,
gave her the facts and went through it with her. And so that if you're there and that's something for you, you can always send Jeremy or I your in-force illustration. That's IN Force Illustrations, and we're happy to review that stuff for you.
and I think the thing to be clear about here is properly engineered. The policies that we create are both an asset. You can use it and then leverage it into the stock market if you wanted to, but still control the principal, still create the guarantees inside of the policy. By mixing the stock market with your policy, you just got rid of all the guarantees and you introduce risk in a system that hasn't been risky for over 200 years. So don't fix what's not broken.
Yeah. Or just don't look at the colorful illustrations, the high rate of returns because you're still thinking like a consumer in that. You're still last in line for your money. You're still trying to take whatever little bit of money that you have left over and you're trying to make something that's too good to be true happen for your future self. And right, I'm telling you right now, you're assuming all the risk. You're not transferring it away as you are in a whole life. But let's talk about some of our other favorite episodes. Can I share a few of mine? Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm waiting for you to tell me one of your particular favorite episodes. And if it doesn't come up, I think the listeners are going to blow you up in the comments.
Well, that's sounding kind of threatening and serious. I might be smiling, but I'm a little bit worried inside. Um, and I can hear who you're talking about. So of course, we must be talking about the one and only youngest banker we've had on, who, realized that mom and dad were scamming him because he wasn't tracking his money. But my very own, my youngest son, Connor, being on the show. Um,
Episode
what
50.
Yeah, yeah, not very long ago, right? For this episode, if you're
Hmm.
listening to this. So that was a sensational one. As a dad, I share this with him. Like, I'm proud of him no matter what. He doesn't have to do anything, and I'm proud of him. And when he came on and I could hear what he's picked up and his own thinking about it, Jeremy, like, it's bringing tears to my eyes right now. Like, it was so meaningful for me. That was
What was the most? Because I mean, I got to be there and be part of the interview. But on your end, what was the most impactful thing in that interaction? Was it the actual experience of listening to Connor speak, or was it, hey, like he's going to be better than me? Like what was it for you?
ah, what a beautiful question. Oh man. It was probably all those things, but for me, it was it was it was the confidence. It was the confidence and the ease that he was able to talk about money and how money worked in his life and how he interacted with it. Just, it was confidence. He was supremely confident about the systems that we're teaching him, and some of the stuff we've been making it up as we go. You know what I mean? As far as the save, spend, share. Like, some of these things, like, we're building the model as we go. There is no perfect model, but to hear Connor talking about it and what it meant to him, that was it was probably one of the, if not the proudest moment I had all year.
Yeah, it's really impressive to hear how an 11-year-old has been able to grasp this concept and what it's going to mean for him over the next year, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years from now. And I can't wait to see the systems that he builds for his own future family.
He had this idea the other day, and I'm not gonna. I'll share it with you off there, because this could be the $100 million idea. I'm telling you, like, he saw a store and he thought, well, why isn't there a store like that for infinite banking?
Hmm.
And I'll go into more detail, but he had a plan for how it was going to work.
Oh,
And
wow.
and I was like, wow, like, these are things that could creative mind of a child, right? Like, play is the highest form of learning, according to Einstein. And that was
There's
super
something we
cool.
can learn from children for sure. I
A
think that we
lot.
forget that a lot.
A
Yeah.
lot. And I learned a lot from Connor in the episode. That's actually, don't have anyone else listen. Jeremy, put your earmuffs on. That's actually the only full episode of ours I've listened to multiple times.
Really?
It is. It is. And I was just, it was fun. It was funny, I thought. It was just a really good time. And the one that you were prompting me to talk about, because it wasn't that one, I know it wasn't, was the one where we had Patty come on, right? My beautiful wife, Maria Patricia Romo Valadares Sipple. We had Patty Sipple come on, and my warrior goddess, talk about just her experience and what it is to be on the journey, and watching how we have shifted from, Jason, what the beep bleep are you doing? To being like, oh my God, why isn't everybody doing this? And look what it's done for our life, and
She
look what
thought
it's
you were
doing.
having a midlife crisis.
Yeah. Do you remember when she brought me out on the porch? I mean, I
Yeah.
remember it, but you heard the story.
Yeah. Yeah. She shared the story about she thought you're having a midlife crisis, and she's like, "What are you doing? What do you need to just kind of like leave?" It's interesting. If anyone wants to figure out how to talk to their spouse about infinite banking, I would encourage you go to episode 36. It's
Mm.
how Jason and Patty had this conversation, and it wasn't an easy one. And then how it's blossomed into literally them having a money meeting every single week. So it went from uncertainty to unified family structure, to the point where Patty was like, "What the F do you mean? What do I feel about money?" To, "Hey, darling, when's our next money meeting?"
Yeah, or no, actually, it was this. Hey, when we're having our money meeting, I want your attention fully. Like, don't tell me about, other episodes of your podcast or this or that. It was, we have to focus on money. We're talking about money. I want your attention about money. And it's, oh, Man, that is the coolest thing. I had someone cancel their call with me tomorrow because they're on board, they want to do this, and their spouse is not. So what episode did I send them? Episode 36. Like, listen to that. Listen to Nelson Nash's to one of his episodes where he is just I'm trying to think of the name of the episode. Let me look it up. Where I send that because he's the spouse whisperer, but really the way to change your spouse, husband or wife, to really to think about money differently and to start to have that conversation, be willing to have that conversation, is to find out what's important to them and to treat it like you're courting them, whether you're husband or wife. Nelson's documentary is all I was trying to think of. Like you can check that out. So anyhow, they're probably two of my favorite episodes, selfishly so, and from the fact that this has been the vision from the beginning, and the fact that my family is now talking about what I'm passionate about and building it with me. It's so much
Well,
better
they're
better
passionate about
together.
it. They're not
Yes.
they're not talking about what you're passionate about. They're talking about what they're passionate about. Like you collectively have a home that's passionate about banking. As weird as that sounds, right?
Yes.
It sounds strange, but you guys are
It does
very
sound strange.
aligned and unified in this.
And we're just getting started. Like we're fairly new, right? I know families that have 40, 50, 60 policies. Like I've talked to them, like, you know, people that have hundreds of millions of dollars in policies, right? So
Mhm.
there's always another level. When you hear our stories, like Jeremy's got, I think you have more policies than we do. We have four and we're starting our fifth, right? And it's not a comparison. It's just where are you and how confident are you and how much control do you feel and certainty do you feel? And you know, with all that being said, we want to know what episodes were your favorite. Like, who cares about Jeremy's favorite and my favorite? Like, what episodes were your favorite? We want to hear what did you like, what did you not. This and if you're not speaking up, then we're not able to go and create those moments for you on what you want to hear more of. We believe it's more interviews. We believe it's more wins, more struggles, more blessings and lessons. But what do you want to hear in the upcoming year in 2026 and beyond?
Yeah, I want to hear more member journeys, right? Personally, that's what I'd like. We've seen that other people respond well to it. If you're curious but skeptical, if you're actually in underwriting, like maybe, hey, I just started this infinite banking journey, but I haven't taken, like I haven't actually got my policy yet.
Mhm.
Still, come on. Like I'd love to know what was the mindset shift because there's other people that are going to be in your same shoes, right? And they
Yeah.
want to hear, they need to hear it really.
And that's going to be maybe the biggest mic drop moment of this year is the best episodes ever are probably going to come from you that's listening right now.
Hmm.
You know, so as we're like you said, we're looking for more member journeys. We're looking for more stories of wins, of struggles, of just where you're at now. Like if you're someone that's skeptical, if you want to share that with us, come on, we'll interview you. Just as long as you're not coming on to pick a fight, we want to know why you feel like that, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've gone through that mindset, that the struggles, those internal struggles. I know that Jason has as well. If you're feeling like you have that and you just want to talk about it, like we can do a couple of strategy sessions live. Maybe that's what we do in next 2026, right? If
Oh,
if
that's a
you're
good
okay with
idea.
that, if you're okay with that, maybe we do some of those live.
Yeah, that would be kind of exciting. You know, that would take a little prep and maybe more direction than I currently have. Like I'm just, or maybe not. Maybe it's just meeting people exactly where they're at, and you know, because you hear what I hear on every call is where someone like by the words they tell me, by what they're sharing with me, where are they at in this moment, and what do they need to hear, right? It's never a linear call. It's
Hmm.
much like our episodes, like my conversations in real life, helping members move forward, get unstuck, or maybe even stay stuck for a little while, and they'll come back. Because I always tell them, don't believe it. And Jeremy, I think you'd agree with this. You'd probably say the same. Don't believe a word coming out of my mouth. Seriously, none of it. Go look it up yourself. We want you to think for yourself.
Now, if we had some members going into the next year who want to be on the podcast, how can they reach out to us?
Well, I mean, drop comments in the and below, right? As you're watching this, let us know there. Reach out to us, go to our website, wealthwisebanking.com, email us, let us know what you're thinking, what you want to see, and we'll do it. we'll do it. As long as it's too crazy, we don't want any naked tide going out kind of moments, but maybe we need
I would
a,
also
so
request some comments, some reviews, so that way other people can find the podcast, right? We need, if you're listening to Apple or if you're listening on Spotify, like, comment, review. Let other people share along in this journey as well. If you found value in it, please help spread the word, bring value to others.
that's it. Like I say this all the time, the infinite banking bus is a big ass bus. Go ahead and invite people on, bring them all. Because you know why? When you're the person that connects someone to something that's going to meaningfully change their life forever, guess what? The person that introduced them to, do you think you added value to that person and makes you more valuable?
You just became the hero.
You just became the hero for that person. All you did was introduce them to a concept and introduce them to a place where they could go and engage and learn on their own. No longer are they being groomed to give up control. All we're doing is say, think for yourself, folks. Go out and look how you can build a rock solid foundation for everything in your life and how that's going to launch you in the 2026 and beyond. Decades, centuries later, it will factually, actually transform your life. So, Jeremy, as always, like again, go drop your comments, share your likes with us, share what you want to see next year. And if you're ready to start the journey, it's not too late. Book a call with us. Schedule a call. We'll meet you where you're at. Maybe we'll do it live with you on one of these calls. And because, Jeremy, everyone that's listening is already in banking.
They're just not the banker yet.
So God bless everyone. Another year. Tomorrow is a big day for many of us. So happy holidays. We love you. God bless you. And we look forward to seeing you in 2026.
Take care. See you next week.
See you next week. Thanks for joining us on WealthWise Banking. If today's episode inspired you, please subscribe, leave a review, and give us a like. It's a simple way to help others discover these empowering strategies and join our community. Together, we're building a network of people who believe financial freedom is within everyone's reach. Remember, financial independence is about making every dollar work for you, one step at a time. Until next time, stay inspired, stay in control, and keep building your legacy the wise way.